Enthusiasm, Brew. Now or never for Lamar.
I wouldn't say now or never. He's 29 years old. Even last year in a down season, without question, he still had 21 touchdowns, 7 picks, a 103 passer rating, basically 104 passer rating. So I think he's getting better generally as a quarterback. And so I think that, it's S-Bob, no doubt. Like every year until he wins the Super Bowl, he is S-Bob. There's no question about it. And if they don't at least get there and really win it, it's going to be a disappointment. Because even if he gets there, it's still going to be like, when you going to win it? You're a 2-time MVP. Or 3-time MVP.
Three-time first-team All-Pro.
Right.
Remember, because he split it the year with Josh
MVP.
Allen. Yep.
So it's S-Bob for sure. But look, because we don't know yet, but I think he looks like he's going to be a very good coach. He's got all the credentials, his resume. I think that defense is going to get back to that Ravens defense under Minter. I think they improved or at least added to the offensive line this year. Like I think the only never question is Derrick Henry. Is this the last year he's King Henry, or was last year? Yeah, at some point Henry's going to fall off, and when is that going to happen? But outside of that, I just think he's still got time. I get it. Mahomes is still there, Allen, and then you got Drake and other young players coming. But I still think his window is pretty large.
So I think his window's potentially large. Let me back up. Because the one thing you didn't mention that I'm very curious about, is Lamar Jackson still a good runner? Like, is he still a dangerous, devastating runner? Because you're right.
That's a different. I'm sure he's probably a good
runner. That's why. Yeah. But is he last year?
Is he unquestionably the best runner in the NFL?
Well,
it might be Josh at this point.
But the last year he wasn't even a good runner He was good compared to, he wasn't special. That's the better way to put it. And was that a combination of little season from hell, over Harbaugh, and a bunch of different weird lingering injuries? Or was it a symptom of getting older, hits piling up, protecting himself more? Because we have talked about Lamar not being as devastating a runner since the AFC Championship game against Kansas City, when we talked about him not taking off when we thought he could. The pass when he caught his own pass in the AFC title game and it looked like he maybe could run for a touchdown, he got caught like that. And I do think that is a major question mark. And because he has improved as a passer from where he was as a rookie, as rookie, maybe even second year, if the running wasn't there, he wouldn't be a viable, dominant starter. Now, I don't think he has to run to be a good quarterback. But I do think the running element is what opens up his ability to be a great quarterback because of the way he's guarded differently.
All right. That got a little chaotic. That definitely got a little messy. Let's see if we can sort all of this out. Because honestly, we're having about 7 different conversations at once right now. Is it now or never? Is Lamar a devastating runner? We're really asking, is he special? Is he not? Is he good? It's a lot. I like messy conversations. But before I jump into it, Baltimore Ravens fans, please do not forget to subscribe and watch the full video. When you do that, views go through the roof, subscribers go through the roof. It's not about chasing either. It's about being able to create Ravens content that people genuinely want to watch and discuss, so we can keep having the most unbiased, grounded, honest discussions about this team. It really makes a huge difference, and I'd greatly appreciate it. But yeah, okay. I don't even know where to begin with this one. Let's just start with running, I guess. We'll start there and build up. I think all of them, all the main dual-threat quarterbacks, their running has looked a little different lately. Whether it's Jalen, Mahomes, Allen, or Lamar. I said that all last year. I said it seemingly every single week. Some of it just didn't look quite right. Some of it was hesitation. That's why Lamar even made that joke last year, especially in the Detroit Lions game. He looked like your controller in Madden got disconnected or you just dropped it, because there was this uncertainty, this hesitation. I'm sure in the past, Lamar could hesitate an extra second and still get away with it. And Lamar still has incredible instincts as a runner. That's what makes Jalen Hurts a great runner too. It's not his top-end speed or how fast and quick he is. Kyler Murray has way more agility and lateral speed, and so does Lamar, but it's about instincts. Similar with Jaden Daniels, I think he's a very instinctual runner as well. It's just knowing how to pick your spots. But I do think at the end of the day, if you're willing to put in the work, we can see how even Brock Purdy using his legs is beneficial, or Bo Nix using his legs can be beneficial. Lamar Jackson is still going to have that in him. He's still going to have that baseline mobility. Now, does it change in a way that needs to be more about buying time in the pocket, or just being able to get those 4 or 5 yards, or if the seas really part, you take off for 15 or 20 yards, rather than it being his get-out-of-jail-free card? Because that's the thing. For Lamar, his running and escapability have always been his ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card. That's why he could always do the thing you're never supposed to do as a quarterback, just keep backpedaling, back. Every other quarterback, you cannot do that. If you do that in practice, the coach blows the whistle and says, no. Stop right there. Do it again and don't do that. But with Lamar, it's his ultimate escape. And it's not going to be like that forever. It's probably already starting to slowly fade. That's why, to me, so much of it comes down to how Lamar evolves. I do understand what Nick is saying, and I push back a little. Yes, how defenses cover Lamar will open up the passing game in a way that if he simply cannot run anymore, it will be different. But again, there are different versions of how you run, how you use your legs. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. So, for the whole, is it now or never for Lamar? Obviously that's kind of an absurd way to phrase it. But when I make a statement like this, I'm not saying Lamar hasn't grown or evolved as a quarterback. That's not it. What I'm saying is that for me, it's now or never for him to take that next step and really evolve as a quarterback and really see this offense evolve. This is what I said in a handful of Ravens videos. I'm ready to see a different version of this offense. I'm ready to see a different version of Lamar. I'm ready to see this offense feel more structured, more in rhythm. It's the exact same thing I say about Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson, honestly. Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen. I want to see the Bills play more in structure. Jalen Hurts is running a completely different offense now, and I'm excited to see a more timing and rhythm offense. That's what I'm expecting with Declan Doyle for the Ravens. That's what I'm looking for. In many ways, with Lamar Jackson as he's evolved and grown as a quarterback, honestly, it seems like it's just by virtue of, how about this? And this goes back to something I always say, one of my main points. I'm all about coaches developing players. I came up with an analogy a while back about how a lot of people who've never played sports at a high level think you just get better naturally just by virtue of time. Because that's how it felt when you were a kid, right? When you're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, as you get older, you simply get better. People think that's how it continues in the NFL. They say, oh, he's in his 3rd year now instead of his 1st, so he's better just because time has passed. But no, you need to be coached. You need to be developed. You need to work on your mechanics, and so on. That's how it's done. It's not like going through puberty where 1 minute you're 5 feet 1 inch and the next you're 6 feet 1 inch and now you have to shave. That's not how it works. Coaching. You don't magically get better. But it does feel like over the course of Lamar's career, his development has just been his own natural maturity. It's kind of like, well, Lamar was 5 feet 1 inch and then he just grew to 6 feet 2 inches, and that's why he's better today than he was yesterday, rather than it really being coaching development. Now, no doubt, and analogies always break down, they're never perfect, no doubt has he grown and improved from a developmental aspect in terms of throwing, more patience in the pocket, looking for different reads, mechanics. No doubt that's part of it. But I just don't look at it rough the lens of this offense. Lamar Jackson as quarterback in the last couple of years compared to the beginning of his career, it's just Lamar being so developed, being coached up, having this offensive system. It's just Lamar got more comfortable. Lamar started to understand the game better. Lamar started to understand more deeply what he can and can't do. And it really does feel more like a natural progression than anything else. That's why I always go back to that 2024 interview he had after losing to the Eagles. He referenced his mom. He said, "I'm trying to do things I shouldn't be, and I just need to get back to what I know." He basically said, "I'm just going to go back to playing football how I've always done it. I see the lanes, I'm going to take off, do this, do that." On one side, sure. On the other side, you want to see that evolution. If we're watching the Ravens play, even if they're winning, even if they're 8-0, but this offense and Lamar feel exactly how they've felt in years past, to me, that's a problem. To me, that is a problem. I want to watch a game where Troy Aikman says, "Wow, last year or the last few years, Lamar wouldn't have done that. And now we can see how he does this." That's the growth and evolution. You want those moments pointed out throughout the game. And it's not just about running, obviously, it's all aspects of his game. Running is always the lowest hanging fruit because normally Lamar would have taken off here, but instead you could see he was patient in the pocket, and that turned into a 30-yard pass. Those are the obvious moments, but there are many, many others as well. That's been my strongest take about the Ravens and my expectations for this team, the evolution as a whole. That's why I'm really excited, because I think they've got good coaches on both sides of the ball, and there's going to be a level of discipline and accountability they haven't had over the last couple of years. But all of these guys and all of these games need to evolve. Nick talks about how what makes Lamar extra special is his ability to escape this and that. You can say that about Josh Allen, you can say that about Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes has never been the runner that Lamar or Josh Allen have been, but it's always his slipperiness, his escapability. He always seems to run just 0.1 miles per hour faster than whoever is chasing him. The moment that doesn't work for him, Patrick Mahomes becomes less threatening. The moment Josh Allen can't just be the tank that he is, he becomes less threatening. Same thing for Lamar. Same for Jalen. Same for any quarterback whose athleticism is a big component of who they are. That's why, when we talk about the longevity of these quarterbacks, we always use Tom Brady. Because Tom Brady is the absolute outlier. He shows us what's possible, but he doesn't show us the new norm. That's why he's Tom Brady. Same with LeBron. Yes, other players might one day surpass them in terms of playing that long. But those guys are absolute outliers. You can argue that the quarterback best suited for a very long career is going to be bigger, taller, an elite passer, and mobility has never been a huge part of their game. The evolution of their game is just reinforcing what matters most. That's why we see a Kirk Cousins who's not quite the same, or Aaron Rodgers not quite the same, or Phillip Rivers not quite the same, and we can still see them hold their own in an offense. We'll see if Josh Allen, Lamar, and Mahomes can do that. Those older guys had to hone completely different skill sets throughout their entire football lives in a way that Lamar, Josh, and Mahomes did not in their development as quarterbacks. So I do feel there will be an evolution that needs to take place for all of those quarterbacks in a way that wasn't necessary for Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, or any of those other aging, more traditional pocket-passing quarterbacks. Matthew Stafford hasn't really had to change his game as he's gotten older. He really hasn't. There hasn't been much of an evolution legitimately needed for him to continue playing in the latter half of his career. You cannot say that for Lamar. You cannot say that for Mahomes. You cannot say that for Josh Allen. That's a perfect immediate example. But what I always push back on and take issue with is acting like this is unique to Lamar when it's not. It's Lamar, it's Allen, it's Mahomes, etc. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you all think about Lamar Jackson? Is it now or never for him? How do you feel about this team? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. Whether you agree with me or disagree, let's get into some discussions, get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love seeing you be part of it. I want to build something we all genuinely feel connected to, something we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, it really helps with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.